Want to work faster in Adobe Illustrator? Here are 8 settings I changed to help speed up my workflow. With Illustrator open, press Ctrl-K or Command-K to open General Preferences, and let's get into it. First up, setting number 1, adjust your default keyboard increment. If you nudge objects around with the arrow keys a lot, this setting can save you a ton of time. By default, Illustrator moves things around 1 point at a time, which is great until you're moving something across the entire artboard or you're trying to get into the details. If you want your nudges to move faster, you can go to your preferences and then General and increase the keyboard increment to like 5 or 10 points. And if you're doing super precise work, you can also go to the other direction and set it to something tiny like 0.0001. The second setting I changed is history states. Consider changing this if you tend to undo a lot. I will say, as a designer or illustrator, try to train yourself to duplicate and iterate instead of just mashing undo. This helps because you can always grab pieces from an older version and pull them into the new one as you iterate, and this becomes notably helpful during the exploration phase. That said, sometimes you just need to sweep the floor and undo a bunch of stuff. And if your computer can handle it, go to Preference, then Performance, and increase your history states. It's usually set to 50 by default, but you can bump it up to 100 or even 200 steps. That means you can undo 200 times. For tip number 3, check out disabling Show Recent Fonts in the type settings. This one really just comes down to workflow or preference. Illustrator tries to be helpful by putting your recently used fonts at the top of the font list. But if you're the kind of person who's comparing a bunch of font family variants, it can be cumbersome to lose your place in the list. So, go to Preferences, then the Type tab, and set Show Recent Fonts to 0. Now, Illustrator keeps you exactly where you left off. Next up, did you know you can change the default corner radius of new boxes that you make? Setting number 4 saves you the extra step of adjusting the corners each square you make in Illustrator. By default, Illustrator sets your rounded corner radius to 12 points. Generally, this is a great place to start. But if you're working on something like UI design, you might want corners that feel a little bit more tighter and cleaner. So go to Preferences, then the General tab, and you can change the default corner radius right there. For UI, I'd bring it down to 8 points. And if you're doing something more playful, like a kid's design, or you want that bubbly sticker vibe, bump it up to something like 16. Of course, this always depends on the size of your shapes, but it's really just a solid baseline. Speaking of corners, number 5 is a setting you'll probably toggle on and off, scale corners. This next one you can also find in your general preferences, but I usually toggle it right in the properties panel. Click your shape, then go to Transform section of the Properties panel and hit the 3 little dots in the bottom right to reveal more options. In there, you'll see Scale Corners. This setting controls whether your rounded corners scale with the shape or stay with the same size. What that means is, when it's on, Illustrator keeps the corner radius proportional as you resize. When it's off, the corners stay consistent even if the shape gets bigger. For illustration, I usually keep this on. For UI design, I usually turn it off. While we're here, you'll also find setting number 6, Scale Stroke and Effects. This one's really similar to the previous, but it applies to strokes and effects. When it's on, Illustrator scales everything together, so as the shape gets bigger, the stroke gets thicker too. And when the setting is off, you can scale a shape up and the stroke weight will stay the same. It's super handy depending on what you're designing, so it's a good one to know how to toggle. And then for the last 2, let's talk about tool settings. Tip number 7, turn on the Pencil Tool's Fill New Strokes option. If you use the pencil tool to draw full shapes, turn this on because it'll save you an extra click every time. Just double-click the pencil tool icon to open its settings, then enable Fill New Pencil Strokes. Now, when you draw a closed shape, Illustrator automatically fills it in for you instead of leaving you with just an outline. Okay, and just one last one. It's the same dialog box, but let's adjust the Fidelity slider for both the pencil and the brush tool. This one lets you control how much Illustrator helps you with your line work. If your lines are feeling a little shaky, double-click the pencil tool or brush tool and move the Fidelity slider more towards smooth. Illustrator will clean up the path as you draw, and if you want Illustrator to be more hands-off and follow your exact movement, slide it back towards accurate. Alright, that's my Illustrator setup checklist. I'm Ryan Selvy, and if this was helpful, give the video a like, and if I missed any of your favorite change settings, drop them in the comments below. For more quick tips and my weekly design news show, File New, make sure you're following Adobe Live.